Joe motherfucking Biden. This dude is my favorite person to think about. I spent 3 hours last night watching Joe Biden videos and just racking my brain on how nothing about him makes any fucking sense. The shit he does and says mystifies me to such an extent I've developed an obsession. I'm constantly asking myself, why Joe? Why did you challenge that poor man to a push-up competition? Why was Corn Pop a bad dude who ran a bunch of bad boys? By the way, we're going to be exploring those topics later. Anyway, not only is Mr. Biden so astronomically stupid beyond all reason, but he's also the weirdest and creepiest motherfucker I've ever seen. Not to mention he is completely unpredictable, and the icing on the cake, he's running for president because of course he is. Now, disclaimer, I have no place in American politics. I'm not from there, I don't have any experience there. Don't take this as advice on how to vote. This video wasn't made to push a political agenda. I'm simply here to admire this bumbling idiot's stupidity for the sake of my enjoyment, and hopefully yours as well, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, or even if you're not American. I think we can all agree, this dude is funny as shit to spectate. With all that out of the way, let me show you why Joe Biden became the new apple of my eye. So to start things off, in case you don't know who Mr. Biden is, he was vice president of Barack Obama from 2009 to 2017. Despite this, in 2008 when Mr. Obama was running for president, Joe Biden just straight up forgot his name.
This election year, the choice is clear. One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
A man I'm proud to call my friend. Barack America. Dude, you can't make this shit up, it kills me every time. Like, imagine someone saying they're proud to call you their friend, and without skipping a beat, they say the wrong fucking name. And to rub salt in the wound, you're their boss. How? How does this happen? And the lunacy doesn't stop there, dude. Oh my god, it gets so much better. That was but an honest mistake. Could happen to anyone. Not really, but let's pretend it could. How about that time where he just calls a lady a dog-faced pony soldier for no goddamn reason, and people laugh?
Arguably the candidate with the greatest advantage in this race. You've been the vice president, you weren't burdened down by the impeachment trials, in the participation. So how do you explain the performance in Iowa, and why should the voters believe that you can win the national election?
It's a good question. Number one, Iowa's a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little bit confusing in Iowa. Number one. But let's just...
I don't understand. Everyone's just like, hee hee, oh Joe, you're so silly. But that's probably because this isn't even out of the ordinary for Joe. Just a few months ago, a similar situation popped up where he just straight up challenges some poor fella to a push-up competition in Iowa during another campaigning event.
But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there, get a job and work for a gas company that he had no experience in the past, did nothing, in order to get access to the public, for the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he is. So
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that? No one has proved that?
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I know you do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sedentary. I get up and no, let him go. Let him go. Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shake line, let's do push-ups together here, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do. Let's keep doing it.
You're gonna fucking love the context for this, right? So this fine fella in the red shirt asked him about some controversy with his son and asked if he was too old to be president. You know, things that you should bring up at a campaign event like this, but Mr. Biden was having none of that shit. So this fucking mad lad calls the dude a damned liar and then challenges him to a push-up contest on the spot. And then everyone clapped. What fucking reality am I in? Who is his audience? They're just like, yeah, Joe, show him how not old you are by acting immature. You get him. He must have some sort of mind control device. I'm convinced. Either that or they're all paid actors. There's no fucking way this could happen. Am I just crazy? Is there something I'm not seeing? My favorite part of this whole clip is like the 3 or so teenagers that were sitting one row in front of the camera, and they look just as confused and terrified as I was. Like, look at this shit, dude. Save these kids before Biden challenges them to some arm wrestling contest that will end their whole fucking chicken choking careers. He's too powerful, dude. He must be stopped. He's a goddamn force of nature. Alright, before this gets out of hand, let's tone down the intensity a little and take a look at something a little more tame, you know? Something that doesn't make us tremble in our boots at the sheer power of this man. His Twitter is my favorite, dude. Loves ice cream, aviators, and Amtrak. Amtrak, by the way, is a railroad company, and he just loves it. Can't stop buying train tickets or some shit, I don't know. Alright, so I just googled Joe Biden's relation to Amtrak, and apparently he even has the nickname Amtrak Joe because he left Trump's inauguration on an Amtrak train exclaiming, "Back on Amtrak." But not only that, he also stated that he's a train enthusiast, and in 2016 he facilitated $2.45 billion to Amtrak to buy new trains and build new stations. So, yeah. Neat little fact about Biden that, again, like all things, makes no fucking sense. Like, it's just so foreign to me. Like, the whole first section is formal and professional, like things to be expected of a presidential candidate, and then he just expresses his love for trains, ice cream, and aviators. Is this an attempt at being relatable for publicity's sake? Because it's not working. All this is doing is further convincing me that Joe is a fucking alien sent to enslave humanity one campaign stop at a time. And if we go down his following list, it's the exact same situation. We got this company, that company, and then, oh, Lady Gaga. Now, there's obviously no problem with liking Lady Gaga, it's just the fact that it's so comically out of place. Everyone else he follows is like a business partner or a family member, and then inevitably, the trademark Biden outlier appears. Boom, Lady Gaga. Fucking what? It makes no sense, you never know what to expect. Let's peep his Instagram, shall we? Holy shit, it's the same fucking bio, minus the ice cream, aviators, and Amtrak. But why though? Why is it on Twitter and not Instagram? What purpose does that serve? I don't understand. Oh, but of course he's following Lady Gaga. Seems to be the only fucking consistency with this guy. I need to know their relationship. Why just Lady Gaga, and why her of all people? There's so much about this man that just makes me question everything. I need answers, damn it! Here's a quick aviators slideshow. Man does love his aviators. He sure as hell wasn't lying about that. Uh-oh. 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 Let's move on to something else, shall we? Let's talk about that little lump of mush that's rattling around in Beau Biden's cranium. I'm convinced he's senile, dude. Listen to these clips and tell me if you can make any fucking sense out of them. It's a stroke in video form, I swear to God. By the way, the full speech will be in the description in case you want to see the whole uncut insanity of this man.
And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what, the men, they're now all men, the guys I work with down here, and they're all guys at the time, they're all good men. Most of them made an awful lot of themselves. And Earl Larkin had a rough time. And some of you knew Earl. I came back as a public defender.
Holy shit, it's like going to the retirement home and hearing one of the walking dustpans mumbling nonsense to the curtain rod thinking it's one of their great-great-grandkids. There's no structure to any of it, and how did he learn a lot about roaches, and why is it so fucking creepy?
And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
And the corn pop story is even worse. I literally understand nothing about it.
I learned a lot. And I learned that it makes a difference. This was the diving board area, and I was one of the guards, and there weren't a lot of, there was a 3-meter board. And if you fell off sideways, you landed on the darn cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
This is the first time he's ever mentioned corn pop in this whole speech, but that's okay. All we need to know is that he was a bad dude and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
And I did, and back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, "Hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off." Well, he came off, And he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There's a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse.
This is Mouse, by the way. Not sure if Mouse knew Bill or if Biden was just being Biden again.
The only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, what am I going to do? He said, come down here in the basement where mechanics, where all the pool filter is.
Fucking pardon? Oh, right, yes, where all the pool
You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head. I said, you kidding me? He said, no, if you don't come back. And he was right.
And he was right about what, Joe? What was he right about? What?
So I walked out with the chain. And I walked up to my car. And in those days, you used to remember the straight razor. You'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty. And I looked at him, but I was smart then. I said, first of all, I said, when I tell you get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you Esther Williams. I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, you apologize to me? I said, I apologize for that, not for throwing you out, but I apologize for what I said. He said, okay, close the straight razor, and my heart began to beat again. I came down here because I remember the first bumper sticker I saw.
What? No, Joe, you can't do that. You can't end a story like that and just move on. What happened after? What was the moral? Why did we need to hear it? I need answers. Joe, please! Oh, speaking of jumping topics abrupt. One thing you should know about Joe is that he just loves to smell people. He just fucking loves it. It's right up there with Amtrak ice cream and aviators.
You got a tight little man pussy on you, don't you? Oh, it stinks. Nice and good.
Please let me go, Mr.
Biden.
See? He makes no sense. Like, out of all the creepy things you could do, he smells people. Like, how do you be weird at being weird? And look, it gets worse, and yet somehow nobody says anything. Ah, fuck, it's too creepy, dude. I feel violated. Get away. Next segment, next segment. Never before have I seen a man more comically moronic in my entire life. Like, every clip involving Joe just looks like a politician skit made for TV. Look at these clips. How does this even happen? Take your damn meds, Joe.
His last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the #1 job facing the middle class. And it happens to be, as Barack says, a 3-letter word, jobs. J-O-B-S.
Taoiseach. But the Taoiseach knows a lot about it. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although wait, your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul. I got to get this straight. They don't call Super Tuesday for nothing. By the way, it's my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Joe, you want to administer the oath?
Am I doing this again?
For the
senior staff. All
yes.
right.
A number of the cabinet members have already.
My memory is not as good as Justice Roberts, Chief Justice Roberts. Does anyone have the? No, I'm told that Chuck Graham, state senator, is here. Chuck, stand up. Chuck, let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. I tell you what, stand up for Chuck. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you. My mother believed and my father believed that if I wanted to be president of the United States, I could be vice president. My mother and father...
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
In the words of Joe, we've learned a lot. We learned don't fuck with Joe.
But I'm gonna wrap this chain around your head.
We learned not to come within touching distance of Joe. And we've learned that he's likely an alien or a robot. Yet somehow, he's winning the Democratic election, and for the sake of the meme, I hope he wins the presidential election as well. And then, the global election, because I'm absolutely prepared for that. All hail Supreme Leader Biden. Joe is truly the epitome of human evolution. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one, my guy. Ciao.